Good evening. The story that I'm going to tell, the title of it is Scarecrow, and it's geared towards teens. There once was an old farmer who had the best farm in the land. Everybody from all around would come and say how nice his farm was. His crops were so nice. And each time they would say that, the old farmer would attribute it to the fact that he had the scarecrow. Well, now this scarecrow was not an ordinary scarecrow. This scarecrow was made out of rotten wooden limbs. It had pitchfork hands, and the clothing were tattered, torn, and worn, and blood-stained. But that was not the most horrifying part. The head was carved from a pumpkin, and it had the most awful snarl on its face. It was so scary that not only did it scare the rats and the birds, it also scared humans. Well, these two young men, their names were Jasper and Edgar, that lived right next door to the farmer, also had a farm. And Jasper and Edgar spent their days plotting on what they could do to get their farm as nice as the old farmer's. One day they decided that it had to be the scarecrow, and that was the reason the old man had such a nice farm. So they decided that they were going to go over and steal the scarecrow. So sure enough, they got over and stole the scarecrow, brought him home, and put him in the closet. Later in the evening, they heard a knock. And Jasper and Edgar looked at each other, and they said, "Man, where's that knock coming from?" And Jasper said, "Might be the closet." So Jasper and Edgar went over and slowly opened the closet door. Scarecrow was still sitting down on the floor like they put him. In the meantime, they heard another knock. Jasper said, "It's the front door." And Edgar said, "Man, these acoustics in here sure made it sound like it was coming from that closet." Well, they went over to the front door and opened the door, and who was standing there other than the farmer next door? The farmer said, "I want my scarecrow." And they said, "We don't have your scarecrow." And he said, "Yes, you do have my scarecrow, because I saw you when you took it out of my field. I have a window that gives me full range of my field. I can see the field and I can see the scarecrow. And you took him, and I want him back." So Jasper and Edgar said, "We don't have him." "Yes, you do, and I want him." So they went, and finally the old man kept at them, and they said, "Okay, we have your scarecrow. We'll go get him. He's in the closet." So they go over and they get the scarecrow. And Jasper was really nervous because the old man said, "Why would you do that? Why would you take my scarecrow?" And Jasper was really nervous, and he was just shuffling around at the door and all that. And the old man and Jasper says, "I don't know. I guess we took it because you have such success and we're such failures. And I think we deserve as much success as you do. And we think that that scarecrow has given you the success you have. And I don't know, you're not to blame for that. It was just kind of silly of us to just take your scarecrow like that." So the old man says, "Oh, don't worry. I was once a young man just like you are, and I had some of the same problems you have, and I would have had the same feelings you have. Just remember that a person's success is not your failure. Focus on you. You're the one who can make whether or not you're successful or you become a failure." And they said, "Thank you. Those are some very kind words you said to us, sir. And by the way, old man, we've never known your name. What is your name?" "My name is Jasper." "My name is Jasper too, and this is Edgar." "See, We're not all that different after all, said the farmer. They all laughed, and they gave him his scarecrow back. They took him back into the field. And instead of Jasper and Edgar following the old man's advice about not letting his success be their failure, they continue to be lazy young men. They continue to have bitterness, and they settle for mediocrity instead of trying to do better for themselves. The end.